Hello and welcome back everyone to another YouTube video. In today's video I will explain and solve problem set 8 Seasons of Love. So in this problem we want to implement a program that counts the number of minutes that someone lived by providing the date of birth, and it will subtract it from today's date, and it will count the number of minutes or how many minutes someone lived. So let's start with taking the date from the user. So let's make our variables year, month, and uh, day, and it's going to be equal to input date of birth, and we're going to split the string because the format that the user should and must provide is this format. So that's why we split our string here. It will return three variables: the year, the month, and the day. And let's actually put it in a try and exception, because what if the user provided uh, wrong input, like something like that, and he didn't provide the day, so we need to stop the program if anything wrong happened here. And that will raise a value error, so let's make the exception. And if that happened, let's exit the program and say invalid date. Okay, for that we need to import sys. So let's actually try before modifying this function. So let's first type a valid um, a date, or the right format for a date. So that's the year, the month, and the day. Okay, no error happened, so that's nice. Let's now provide wrong format, so the year, and let's just type the month. So as you can see, invalid date. So let's move on and modify our function here. But first, let's actually call the function here, the main function. So minutes lived, and pass in the parameters that we need, which are the year, month, and the day. And in this function we will return a message, so let's print the return from this function. Okay, now we are done in this function, so let's actually modify this. And here we will actually use the module date, or the module date time, and we will import from it the date class, because we need to make like a variable which is a date time. So that's why we're using it. So in order to make an object of a date, we are going to make our variable, let's call it date for date, and it's going to be equal to, and now we are going to initiate an object, so date, and this object needs three parameters, which are year, month, and the day. But if we leave it like that, we'll actually get an error, because our year, month, and day are actually strings, and this class takes integers. So let's force this to be integers, and we should be good. And also, if for example the user inputs the date in format like this, so the day first, then the month, then the year, this will actually raise an error because it only provides the first format that we explained earlier. And let me actually show you what will this print. So let's run our program again. Let's first provide uh, the right format. Let's do this. So yeah, the none is coming from here. So let's actually comment this and run again. 5:15. Yeah, as you can see, nothing was printed because we didn't call the function. So we actually need to bring this back and remove the print. Okay, we will put it again, but let's check first if our date is printing. Okay, hopefully this is the last time. Yeah, finally. So this is our date uh, variable here. So let's actually provide a wrong format. I want to show you what will happen. Let's put the day first, day, then the month, then the year, and we get a value error because it only provides the format that we put here, the year, month, and day. So as you can see, there is an error that can be raised here. So let's also use the try and except. And as you can see, the error here is a value error. So let's also accept value error. And here let's actually just return a message invalidate. Okay, now we have our date stored in a variable called dt, shorthand for date. Now we need another variable to store to store today's date, and let's call the variable t and day. So this should be equal to, and in order to get the date, we actually will use the class date and the method today. Okay, and let's actually print so you can see what this is storing. Let's clear the screen and run again. Any date. Okay, as you can see, that's today's date. So now we have the date of birth and today's date. So what we need to do now is to subtract the two dates and store the return in another variable. Let's call it, for example, diff, the difference between the two dates. And you're going to simply just type, okay, what should be first? Yeah, today minus el date, which is the date of birth. So this actually will return, okay, let me actually print this to show you. This will return the number of days between these two dates. Let's run again. But let's actually put a date uh, near this date. So let's okay, 2022 and 7, then 1. This should return 1 day. So as you can see, it's 1 day difference between the two dates. So that's great. But now we need to just take this part here, or this number. We don't need these things. We just need the number of days between these two dates. And in order to do this, there's actually a method for this, but let me first show you something. Let's see what's the type of this variable. Is it an integer, string? Okay, so let's run the program again. Let's type any date, and our type here, the type of this variable is a class date time delta. So actually, if you read about this, you will see that this has a method called total seconds. So this will make our life easier, because now let's make a variable called minutes, and it's going to be equal to uh, the difference between two dates, and using the method called total seconds. But we need to divide it by 60 because we actually need the minutes, not the seconds. And I think this will return a float. Okay, but let's check first. Let's print the minutes, clear the screen. Let's provide the date of yesterday, 7 and 1. So yeah, it returns a float. This is the number of minutes in a day, so that's correct. All we need to do now is to make this integer. So this returns a float, and we will make it an integer, so this point 0 will be removed. And let's actually print again to see if that's actually working. So let's provide the same date, and now it's an integer, and point 0 is removed. So that's great. Now we actually pretty much finished, but we actually need to print the minutes in words. So if it's 100 minutes, we need to return 100 minutes, not 100 minutes. So in order to do this, we'll actually use another module called inflect, and we actually used it before. So import inflect, and let's make the variable p and inflect dot engine. So yeah, now we can use the module, and what we're going to use is a method called number to words. So let's make a variable called message, and let's use the number to words. So I think it's like that, number to word or words. Yeah, I think that's the right way to call this method. And we need to pass in what's going to be converted to words, and that should be our minutes. Okay, let's actually see if it's working. Print the message, the same date. Okay, 1440. But if you noticed in the problem, it mentioned that we should remove this and in order to do this, we will modify a parameter here. By default, it's and it's called and word, I think. Okay, let me check. Yeah, I'm just missing. Yeah, it's like that. And we are going to leave it empty because it by default it's and. So let's try again and provide the same date. Okay, as you can see, the and is removed, so that's awesome. We actually are missing something in the message, because if we recall, we need to uh, say minutes at the end, and we will easily do this by adding this string here and close. Okay, so this returns a string, and we are going to add this part to the end of our string here. Let's try one more time. Provide the same date. As you can see, minutes are added in the end, and I think we are done here. Okay, but let me just return the message and print it here in the main function. Okay, let me see if we are missing something. I think we covered every detail, so let me use check 50 to make sure that we passed every test. And by the way, we haven't yet made our test for the seasons or for this program. Okay, so let's use check 50. So yeah, as you can see, we failed a lot of tests, but the fix for this is like really simple. If you notice here, the first letter should be capital and the rest are not. So we can easily do this by using the capitalize method. Capitalize. Okay, let's see if our message is now printed with the first letter capital. Same date. Okay, I have a typo. Oh, okay. Okay, let's try again. And the date. And now it's working, and the first letter is capital. So that's great. And now we should pass every test. But let's actually go through the test seasons. It's actually ready. So I don't think there is anything new or different. We have made a lot of these before, but let's go through it first. So here we are testing on the function minutes lived. So if we pass in this date, for example, this should be the output, and here also the same, another but another date. So this also should return different number of minutes. And here we provided invalid date, and this will return invalid date. So as you can see, there's nothing new or different, uh, just the simple test for a program. So this actually should be test 2. Okay, let's use pytest and call this the file. Okay, we actually failed the test, and let me see where. Okay, yeah, that's funny because actually this was for yesterday's date, so this should be totally different. Okay, in order to get the right output, let's actually run the program and provide the first date in the assertion here, and you'll just simply take the output and paste it here, and the same for the second date, 2 and 1. So yeah, and paste it, and let's run PyTest again. Hopefully it works. Yeah, that's great. And now we are ready to use check 50. And if everything is going alright, we will submit our solution. So check 50, where are you? So yeah, as you can see, we passed every test. So yeah, that's the end of today's video, but I think I want to go through the code once more time. So here in the main function, we take store the date of birth from the user in these variables, and we are going to split because after we split the string, we will get back three uh, different variables: year, month, and day. And if anything went wrong, we will exit with a message invalidate. We here are calling the function, and it returns a message, and this message will be printed. So yeah, nothing complicated here. And we here are passing the parameters, the year, month, and day, because we're going to use them here. So yeah, the first thing we did here, which is this block of code, which assign the date of birth to this variable here, which is called dt. You can call it whatever you want. And we needed to put integer before each variable because they are string, and this class accepts only integers. So yeah, and if we provided, for example, the day here, then the month or any different approach, we will get a value error, and if that happened, we will return invalid date. So after this block of code, we have our date of birth stored in this variable. So after that, we made another variable called today to store today's date. Because this is pretty good actually, because this will work anytime you run the program. So for example, if I run the program tomorrow, I will not need to change today's date. So what I mean, if we actually remove this and type the date of today, 07 and 02. So as you can see, this will only work today. So imagine if I use this program tomorrow. So I will not get the correct number of minutes. So that's why we used this method. And here we subtracted the two dates, the date of today and subtracted from the date of birth, and this will return a time delta. And this time delta, the information it has is the number of days between these two uh, dates. And to access, or not to access, to get the total seconds in this period of time. So for example, if it's 1 day, then total seconds, uh, I don't recall how many seconds, but it was 1440 minutes. So yeah, so now here we are making another variable called minutes, and we'll actually divide by 60 because here we have the seconds. We don't need that. So by dividing by 60, we now have the minutes. And at last, we use the inflect module to convert the number to words. And we modify this parameter to remove and from our string. And we added minutes at the end of our string. And here we needed to capitalize the first letter. And yeah, that's it. So I hope that was easy and clear. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.